What's up, internet? So, happy Sunday. Cheers. Coffee. um, Part of this is going to be an alibi, and I went a little bit too far along in my journey yesterday than I wanted to, but I got kind of caught up in the moment. So that's my alibi. But I don't regret it. I ended up just posting the video because it was so driven by passion, and I love what I'm doing with this. Not only does it help me, but the idea that it can help some of you and some of the direct messages I'm getting, texts, social media messages, etc. There's impact, and a huge goal of mine as I navigate the rest of my life is a model that if I can help one person, and I try to do that every day, and just think about the power of that. If we can do that every day and we just help one person, and they help one person, they help one person, you literally change the world. That is how we change the world, and that fascinates me, the beautiful simplicity to that. And I hope that's something that some of you guys, as you watch this and you interact with me in my life, that it can rub off on you, and you just start to do, because there is significant power in it. So let's jump back in. A little bit of this is going to be recap. I decided to really focus on the second night, and I want to get back into it because I think it is probably the most, not probably, I have a tendency to do that. I think it is the most significant night that I had there, in terms of really facing myself and having a breakthrough and a reward, quote unquote reward, for those actions. And I said even the next day as I was talking to people that if I left the retreat there, all of the costs would have been worth it. Just what it showed me, and the confidence it gave me in kind of facing struggles. And it's pretty amazing. So let's jump back in. So if you guys remember, the first night was not enjoyable. I came out of that thinking everyone there, not the participants, everyone, the facilitators, the place, ayahuasca as a whole, was evil. The place was evil. Couldn't explain it, but it was just wrong. I needed to go back in, probably curiosity, probably part of me knew that it wasn't true, but I needed to go back in and face that. So you'll hear me talk about multiple times through this and the nights, the importance of the pre-ceremony yoga. Again, or ceremony, maybe it's not yoga, if you have like a meditation, I struggle with meditation. So the yoga was fortunate that it really worked for me. But man, do I recommend you just have that hour before anything that you separate from the world, and really start to calm, find yourself, align your goals and your intentions for why you're there, what you're doing, your intention for that evening. And there is significant power in that. And I'm gonna reiterate that over and over again because I really believe it. And I'm saying that from a hindsight perspective. It's not something that I believe from reading. The impact that it had on me, and the reflective points that I was able to have in that, let alone the physical comfort of just relaxing. I have a lot of physical pain. So being a little bit more physically relaxed my mind, and let me be present and clear about what I was doing there. Now, ayahuasca is going to take you on whatever the fuck journey it wants to, but you're at least setting yourself up for success there. Again, if you were skipping right to video 3, I highly recommend you go back to video 1. They're long, 30, 40 minutes, but we're going on a journey here, and I think that there's a lot of value to getting through the whole video. As I look down, I'm looking at a whiteboard. Again, I don't have my office normal setup with a whiteboard behind me where I would normally do something like this. So pre-ceremony yoga, I am going into this just wondering what the fuck is going on. What is this evil? What is this darkness? As I'm sitting there through pre-ceremony yoga, it just comes into my head that I need to remember why I'm there. Cleaning out my cup, clearing my cup so that I can have more emotional stability. Doing that in a way that, because I believe that ayahuasca is a medicine. People conflate psychedelics with drugs, and someone who's done a lot of LSD and MDMA and other things, those were all very party purposed. detachment from reality. This, I really believe in plant medicines, especially the way that I use psilocybin, is a medicine. It is meant for healing. It is not about the escape. Especially with this. Like, this stuff is powerful, So just remembering that it is medicine, remembering that I had read and I agree with that you can talk to Aya and you can to ayahuasca. And you can have a relationship there and be in a partnership with it. And there's a woo aspect to that, of course. So maybe if that's too far for you, just remember that you believe that it's a medicine if you're going down this path. Then the mirror. I believed that ayahuasca provides a mirror that is absolute truth. There's no subjectivity to it. What it shows you is real. It is, whether it's showing you something from an outside entity or space, or whether it's just letting you talk to an aspect of your subconscious that isn't allowed to lie to itself, I don't know. Fundamentally, I don't think it matters. What matters is that it is truth, and if you can accept that, you can have that as a foundation to build off of. For me, I knew that all of the things that have got me to where I'm at in life, I don't need them anymore. At least not all of them, or not to the degree that they've worked for me. Everyone stresses about money. Even with our success, I worry about having money for the next investment. It's different than putting money on my table. I worry about disappointing people. I worry about being loved, respected, etc. Just natural human emotions. But I've surrounded myself with just incredible people. I don't do drugs to get fucked up anymore. Sometimes I'll go to a trance show and do MDMA just to escape. But even I do that as professionally as possible. Have a good dinner, have water and Gatorades lined up for after. I don't go out after. We go home and house Gatorades and go to bed and go on to the next day. And that's probably the only thing I do for really just enjoying the experience. But everything else is really purposeful, mindset, physical improvement based. So what am I going to do with that in session 2? Again, I think of these things that I need to remember. It's the medicine in the mirror. So it just sets in me that that's what I need to do that night. And I voice it to the facilitator. I voice it to my buddy that is sitting next to me, who I just connected with. And their reactions even said it more that I knew it was right. So I go in, take the first dose, and this is a stronger dose. It's funny, I don't remember the exact doses I took, but the second night was stronger than the first. The first one was obviously a lead-in dose, so I think I ended up with 2 cups total between my first and second rounds. I take it, and immediately the darkness starts to come in. But now I've primed my brain, primed my mind, or my heart, or whatever it may be at this point, to look at it not in a fear I'm being attacked, defensive hero complex aspect of that everything is evil. I'm looking at it immediately. Okay, this is medicine. We can have a conversation here. What is the darkness you're trying to show me? And the whole world shifts. It's immediate as I start to have that conversation. Again, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not going to talk about what that darkness was. I don't think it's appropriate for this area, just because there's other people involved in that. But the power that happened there, as it started to come in, is it sucked as I'm sitting there. But then it was giving me what I'm going to call light, because of calling the other one darkness or evil, is the counterpoint to that darkness. And these things started to battle. I would eat the darkness and just feel horrible about myself, and really just legit horrible about myself. And then the counterpoint would come in, and it would fill me with such gratitude and love and motivation and passion. And the other one would come in, and the whole world would shift around, and I'm visualizing some of these things, but it's more as just like the world around me and the Maloka is dark and overwhelming. It's very emotional based. And then the counterpoint would come in. I battled that for who knows how long, probably an hour, hour and a half. And near the end of that, it just set in as I've gone in and out of this, 30 times. What started is 90% darkness, 10% light, 90% darkness, 10% light, 85% darkness, 15% light, 85, 15, 80, 20, 75, 25. Incremental counterbalance to the things. At the end of this, I am at 100. In terms of importance, I'm at 100 to 0. The light and the positivity and the love and the gratitude, that side of it just eliminated the dark side. It doesn't mean it eliminated it from me. I think that's an important distinction. The darkness is there. The driving factor in that is there. I mentioned a quote yesterday. Our decisions, not our conditions, are what shape our environment. Our decisions, not our conditions, are what shape our environment. I get to decide which of those two things, the darkness or the light, for what I'm calling them, are more important. And which one do I lean into? Which one do I act upon? Understanding that the darkness is there, but the power that it gives me, that I get to choose the light and the positive and the gratitude over that, it makes it so easy not to lean into that. And as that happened, it spit me out. And that'll make more sense after you've done a session. I swear, it fucking just, it runs you through the ringer and then it just spits you out. And I'm excited at this point. I'm like, this, I just broke through and I'm like, pumped. So I go back to the middle, or I flash my light and Christina comes and I'm excited. And I go over, how was that? I just had a breakthrough. Let's go. I had a full second one. And pretty quickly, I am through the wormhole. And it's funny, you'll find a comfortable position, and I think for everyone it's going to be different. For me, it was upside down and backwards on my mat. My feet are up on the wall, and I am just laid back. And at this point, I know that I am about to experience a quote-unquote reward. I've had a breakthrough, and I now have experienced the value of appreciating ayahuasca as a medicine and believing, entity or not, my subconscious or not, that I can have a conversation and we can work in partnership to grow through this and do the work that we need to do. And I just know it in my fucking soul at this point. And it is so exciting. So I just give in. I can feel, I think of it almost as like serpents or like something going through my veins down to the cellular, I have trouble saying that, cellular level. And I'm just flayed out and I can just feel it exploring me. And in a subconscious way, I can just feel it working. I don't know what it's doing, but it's exploring me. And there's just, I feel like I weigh 1,000 pounds as I'm just plastered to this mat. And at the same time that's that working, I have a conscious aspect where I know, I do so much work on this with coaches, etc. for years now, that I know a lot of the things that bother me. So I start trying to guide it. And I'm like, is this business? Is this dad? Is it mom? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it just this money? It's all these things. Is it my physical pain that just, I take such pride in my physical prowess. I'm so tired of being in pain all the time, but I fucking do it to myself. And as I'm just working through these things, and as I'm trying to guide it, again, I don't know if it's an entity, and people will call it Mother Aya. I tend to lean that there is kind of an entity there, honestly. It's in my voice, but it just started talking to me. It was like, I could feel it smacking me, but lovingly, playfully. Okay, Lindsay, fucking stop it. I got this. You trusted me. we're doing this together. Just fucking lay there. And it's just smacking me around. And I'm at this point laughing out loud. And my buddy next to me, if he's watching this, I'm trying not to use names. I know he's gonna laugh here because he's also laughing because he's having a similar experience. And we talked later, he's like, I could hear you laughing, which is then making me laugh, is because there's just like this sense of humor that ayahuasca has that I can't put into words. It sounds dumb, it sounds woo-woo, but you're going to experience it if you go down this avenue. I'm very confident in that. If you allow yourself to work in partnership with it, you gotta be open. But yeah, so I'm trying to guide it, and I can feel it going just through me, and then the conscious stuff through my mind as I'm trying to guide it. It's like, fucking stop. So then I'm just there. Once it convinces me that I'm like, just let it do the work, I got what I think is the ultimate reward for me. So that is what I'm calling on the board, energy in the universe, you know. Even if you're not, I use the word woo, just probably it's fun to say, but it's applicable. The term is like what the universe is doing for me. People will say it, you know, whether they understand or have a belief as to what that means for them. You know, I don't even know that I did. But I've made choices over the past year or so, you know, especially the past 6 months, as we've kind of just burned the boats and left Colorado and started on this adventure for different reasons, and of very positive reasons. The people and things that come into my life out of seemingly nowhere, and opportunities that are just incredible. And I'd say, I don't know what the universe is doing, but it's doing something. I have always believed in energy. I think it is naive to think otherwise. Whether you believe fully to the point of Reiki or things of that nature, that just look at static electricity, look at our engagement with the earth. You know, there's cameras now that can pick up the electrical aspects of the human body and the earth and plants and just everything. It's fairly indisputable at this point. I think it's going to be, it's up for debate how those interactions work. You know, a lot of this will be just my opinion, you know, or what I now believe. But I've always believed in energy and that it's everywhere, but I've never truly known. I think you guys can appreciate there's a difference between believing something and truly knowing. So as I'm letting the ayahuasca work through me, you know, subconsciously, just laying there and consciously and being smacked around and lovingly, jokingly prodded and pushed, I start to see this world of energy. I won't say it's like a room or anything, because it is. I'm just standing in this vastness. And I think it's just the way my brain interpreted it. I don't know if this actually exists, but it is this swirling ball of mechanical energy, like you'd see in a sci-fi film, lights and lightning, and it is. I can just know that it is so powerful. This is where the universe gets its power from. It is that vast, and I'm seeing it. And I am certain that I saw it. You know, it likely doesn't exist in that form. It's just how I was able to see it, but I felt it in a very real way. What was cool is the expansion of that is now, so if that's the power of the universe, say, how do I access it? What is the tie to, I don't know what the universe is doing. How does something happens, negative or positive, that the the universe's entanglement with an individual person. So for me, I look at what I was seeing is what I call a walkway that you see in like Denver Airport or a lot of airports now, a moving walkway that's flat. And I'm seeing this in a endless walkway that has vast sides. It's like a tower that comes up, and I can't see the bottom or anything. I just see these lights that are along it, and I know that it's a walkway. And now as I'm back to working through trying to guide the ayahuasca, and as I'm doing this and I'm thinking about the negative things, I'm pulled off of this walkway, and I can feel myself get very heavy and pulled back. And then the voice, Aya, would say, "Lindsay, I got this," and it would smack me back on to the walkway. I'd feel myself light and pulled forward. It would go like that, and then I'd try to guide it, or I'd think about something very troubling in my life, and it'd be heavy and pulled back. I would come in, smack me back on, light and pulled forward. I'm doing this over and over and over again. And a lot of it I'm laughing through because it's like, I appreciate that I'm being like coddled back onto. It's funny, one of the gentlemen down there showed me a picture, and it was a guy standing on the edge of a cliff, and a big hand that said ayahuasca was getting ready to flick it, and then it had ayahuasca as a hand down at the bottom ready to catch it. I think there's a third hand that then smashes you into the ground with it, and then a fourth hand that picks you up, and it starts the whole cycle over again, and it's beautiful, albeit violent in a way. But yeah, it was just kicking me off in an uncomfortable pain, and then pulling me back on to show me what's possible. And I think that this is fundamentally the most important thing that I probably got out of the whole thing. And I think the next couple of days are solidifying how I stay on that track. And we'll talk about that in the next couple of ones, because those are absolutely vital. Because I guess if for me, if that track's there and I don't know how the fuck to stay on it, what's the point of even having it there? Like I mentioned yesterday, there's a aspect of this where I've never liked religion. Frankly, I despise it. All the hate and pain in the world, I think, is because of religion. It's a pretty firm hill I'll die on. There were some other people there, though, who were using it to find religion, and I think I can see that, and I respect it. You know, there's such a power that you experience that if you want to personify that in a religious aspect, then good on you. You know, that's your path, as long as you use that in a positive nature and make it your own. Don't try to put that on other people. But one of the things that I always rail against in religion is the aspect, my fucking mother-in-law does this, is like she's trying to save us that if we don't believe, we don't go to heaven. Like, fuck you. It's so dumb. Like, and it's just such a piece of shit way to think about things. Like, I'm so certain, like, and one of the things I thought was so beautiful is with this energy, like, it's just there. And it doesn't give a fuck whether we believe it or not. But if we do things that align with the positivity that I believe the universe has, hi buddy, George's over there, then it's going to support us. I don't think that there's anything that the universe is trying to do to hold us back. We do that ourselves from our decisions. The universe, the life is here for us. It happens for us, not to us. And I think that's so powerful, because if I can use the next couple nights of things that I talk about to get me onto that track, then there's a current within the universe. It's funny, a couple weeks ago, I do shrooms out, I do hero doses out under the stars, and just to connect with the universe. It fascinates me, it's beautiful. Or just the stars are beautiful, very dark sky. And I could see this current. And it was cool just to kind of have that, and then now expanded to the point where, you know, I've thought about how do I just get into that current and just go with it. And you know, I guess I'm gonna stop myself from going too much in the next couple of nights, and I'm regurgitating this, or I'm beating this dead horse because I think it's so important. But there is an energy there that you can get on that makes, I mean, you guys feel this when you do something that just feels right and it works out and it's effortless and it launches you forward. Like, and you see people who are just getting kicked in the face all the fucking time. And you objectively look at the world around them and the choices they make is they all fucking suck. It's their decisions that just continually grind them into the ground. They find some fucked up sense of comfort in that. Like, it's so interesting to me. Like chase those things. Surround yourself with people that are chasing that positive aspect and that aggressive way forward. Like, it just makes it easier to get back on that path, you know? I don't know. We'll get more into that in following days, but just for me, there is a moving walkway there that if I can do the work every day to keep myself over that, and as I have issues that pull me off, because they happen, that's real life. It's impossible to fucking stay on that track. It's not a real expectation. But if I get pulled off, the faster I can get back on, the faster I can get back on. And if I do the hard work to get back on as fast as I can, then the subconscious starts to take over and it happens immediate. It just starts to go faster. And depending on the input that is trying to pull us back and the strength of that, it's going to be more difficult to get back on. But the harder work I can do to get back on that faster, I'm just going to propel forward. So I highly encourage you, if you have things that feel heavy or people pulling you back, is fucking get rid of them. If they're trying to be that positive in their own life and in your life, help them and be as one. We are meant to be a society, but people aren't willing to do the fucking work. Get rid of them. We are not. There's enough people trying to do the work that we can support. That's something I'm really believing in. And yeah, that's what I got for today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about something really powerful and how to get back on faster. For me, at least, it really ties to, for me, my anger. So if you guys are dealing with anger, like, tomorrow's going to be the episode for you. Very much perceived injustices versus actual injustices. The reward of the whatever the fuck ayahuasca was doing through my body in what I'm calling cleaning out my cup. That cup that I've talked about of just needing the room to process emotions and inputs, etc. The immediate benefit that I felt from that, and now being able to do the next step of work to set me up for success for all the hard work that I now have to do through integration. But a lot of anger shit tomorrow. It's going to be pretty cool. So I love you all, as I say every day. Very much, if you guys are watching all of this, I know that you guys are trying to do work yourselves for not only yourself, but for those around you. And goddamn, am I here for you. Email me, text me, message me on social media, whatever it may be. Figure out how to fucking get in touch with me. If you guys are making it through all these and you have questions that I can remotely help with, I'm going to give you my time. It's the best thing I can give. It's the only thing we don't get back. Let me help in any way I can. Talk to you tomorrow.